For the rim. Garnett on the slam. Oh, using Curry way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry.
So yeah, like I was saying, I don't like the losing direction and my role in this team and in this franchise. I'm just not sure what that looks like going forward. So if you could clarify maybe? Yeah, we're really glad you asked. It actually looks like Dallas. Pardon me? Dallas, you know, Mark Cuban, Shark Tank, Holly Luka. But yeah, look, just don't worry about it, alright? Look, losing is just kinda what we do here. Until we get lucky and draft a star or maybe land one through trade or free agency, and then we just lose in the playoffs. Yeah, look, we promise, it's nothing personal, but you're talking about championship aspirations, and those only come around once in a blue moon over here, so we're gonna go ahead and lose the rest of this season, then we're gonna try to hit a home run in free agency, and you and Luka can try to recreate what Dirk and Nash had and hope that Mark Cuban doesn't trade one of you. Sound good? Great, good talk. Guys, when you woke up this morning in this like Siberian weather we are experiencing, did you think that Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis were going to be teammates by the end of the day? Of course you didn't. No, you're really waiting on the LeBron and AD thing to happen, but no. The New York Knicks, after a couple of years of Kristaps Porzingis, they not lost him, but they got rid of him. And I am fucking baffled. I was on Twitter and I saw that there was a meeting, and I saw that Kristaps left the impression that he wanted to be traded, but then I was like, yeah, you know, they're just a little bit angry right now. He's frustrated with his injury. The Knicks are losing. They've been losing. It's whatever, they'll work it out. I left Twitter for an hour and came back. This dude was a Dallas Maverick. Wow, I severely underestimated how ambitious and impulsive the New York Knicks really are. Look, it is super easy to forget how good somebody is when you hadn't seen them play in a while. So just in case you did not remember the Unicorn, that is such a bad nickname. Just in case you did not remember what Porzingis was offering. He was only 22 years old in his third year. He was voted an all-star, 22 points a game, actually 23 points, 2.5 blocks a game, 7 rebounds, shooting 40% from 3, and 44% overall, which is not that good, but when you're a lone star on the Knicks, then what else are you gonna do? We're talking about a big guy with handles that can shoot. Basically your prototypical big man from this era. So the official trade deal was Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., Courtney Lee, and Trey Burke to Dallas. The Mavericks send back Dennis Smith Jr., Wesley Matthews, DeAndre Jordan, and as Shams reports it, a likely first-round draft pick compensation. And if you haven't heard, shortly after the trade, Kristaps Porzingis said that he intends to sign the qualifying offer on his contract with Dallas. He's still on his rookie contract because again, he's so young, so normally what happens, especially if he hadn't torn his ACL, is a rookie like that signs the max extension on his contract and he goes on to play for that team for like the next 5 years. Instead, he is signing the qualifying offer, which only runs for about $4.5 million, and it will make him an unrestricted free agent in the year 2020. So yes, if nothing crazy happens, then that means Kristaps and Anthony Davis will both be unrestricted free agents and yeah, next summer. So let's go ahead and discuss what all of this means just in case you haven't heard for both sides, because yeah, this is actually really interesting for both sides. For New York, you might be thinking, and yeah, you saw the skit at the beginning of the video, like wow, they did that, they worked fast. Like in the same day there was a meeting that Kristaps expressed that he was a bit unhappy with the direction, he was gone like an hour later. So what's with that? Well, the Knicks had an injured star on their hands. You never know how somebody's gonna come back from a torn ACL. They might come back and you'll forget they ever had one, or it might be like Derrick Rose where it bothers them for the majority of their prime. You just don't know. Said star was very unhappy, like he said, with the losing direction. The Knicks are obviously trying to land a high draft spot this year, because that could be pretty lucrative. But what they also did with this move was set themselves up for a major, well, possibly a major hit in free agency. Not gonna lie, this is kind of like this is reminding me, this is giving off Miami Heat vibes back when Chris Bosh, LeBron James, and Wade were free agents. Just because of the type of summer that the Miami Heat knew were ahead, Pat Riley went ahead and made preparations so that he could get the 3 of them. So I'm not saying there's going to be any kind of trio meetup in New York, but considering the free agent list this summer, it's a great time to have cap space. And boy, the Knicks just gave themselves a lot of that. See, they're taking on expiring contracts and a player with potential. So with Wes Matthews, it looks like I saw a report that he might be bought out. And then DeAndre Jordan, he only signed for 1 year with Dallas, so he's going to be a free agent this summer as well. Both of those contracts come off the books. However, they have Dennis Smith, who they felt like they should have drafted a couple of years ago anyways. So they're just going to keep him, and maybe he becomes a great player, maybe he just becomes a regular player, whatever. That's besides the point. it looks like with the cap space that they've cleared for this summer, they're gonna have space for 2 max contracts. Alright, well listen to me real quick. We're talking about 2 max contracts in the summer where a possible free agent list could look like DeMarcus Cousins, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler. That's just off the top of my head, and there's probably more. This is a pretty stacked free agency class. On top of that, it still remains to be seen where the Knicks are going to fall in the draft. So they could potentially go into the summer with a high draft pick in a draft that is going to have some pretty valuable assets, we assume, and a ton of cap space. Now that draft pick probably becomes trade bait, right? So let's just say that the New York Knicks get luckier than they ever have and they get a star or 2 this summer, let's say 2. And then they also have a high pick potentially. That's huge trade bait at that point. As a matter of fact, that sounds very similar to when Cleveland brought LeBron James back and then they used the pick that was Wiggins to get Kevin Love. Not exactly the same, but you see that it goes in the same direction. So that is the New York Knicks game plan. It's short and simple, and it's a gigantic gamble. This is the equivalent to, I don't know how many of you have ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh, but Joey has the time wizard, and every time he's getting his ass beat, he has to bring out the little time attack, and if it lands on the skulls, it kills everybody, and if it lands on the other thing, then it kills the other people's cards. That's exactly what the Knicks are going for. If they pick up 2 stars this summer, then it worked out and it was all worth it. However, if they land on the skulls, then they just possibly traded their franchise corner piece for the next, decade? Yeah, they just traded that all for nothing. So it's a very all or nothing summer, and that is going to be one of the most interesting topics going into 2019. So from that perspective, I don't think this is as terrible as we've made it out to be. Of course, it's fun to laugh at the Knicks. They've been bad for a long time now. Really, for most of the time I've been a basketball fan, they've been bad. Nobody likes their actual, the management of the organization and James Dolan. But I just want to make it clear that they gave up Kristaps for the opportunity of a lifetime. Opportunity. Nothing in stone yet, but this just may work out. So Knicks fans, if you're sitting next to an outlet with a metal fork, just hang off on that at least until this summer. Now, on the Mavericks side, here's what's going on with them. I think it's pretty clear Kristaps is probably not going to play this season. There's really no reason for him to do so. Luka Doncic looks great this season. They may or may not make the playoffs, but either way, there's no title aspirations going on, so they can just let the rest of this season happen. Good thing for them is to get Kristaps, they traded a player who seemed like he really wanted to be traded anyways, or, things just weren't working out between them for a while, so he was going to be traded one way or another, it seemed like. And they traded expiring contracts to get potentially what will be a superstar pairing going on for the next decade. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning, Kristaps has already expressed his intent to sign the qualifying offer, so nothing's written in stone yet. We're gonna have to see what happens next season, and that's always it. This is basically a potential rental. Now, it's not all bad because that means that the Mavericks have cap space to actually go after people as well, instead of him getting to Dallas and signing a max extension. And that would have been a gigantic risk for the Mavericks anyways, because like I said at the beginning, we don't know what Porzingis we have now. We're not gonna know that until midway through next season, and possibly even longer. Sometimes it just takes people longer to get back to form. We don't know what Porzingis we're getting. That's the bottom line. But in my opinion, this is very low risk, high reward, because again, it's not like they traded anything of super importance to get him. So the upside to this is that now you have 2 very young pieces that are probably going to be superstars in the league. You have them while they're extremely young, and that's important in the Western Conference because when a team has a star, specifically in the West, you can just fade into obscurity like the Portland Trailblazers are doing right now, or like the Pelicans did. All their prime years get wasted because the team was never ever going to be good enough to come out of the West. So they've already set it up. They've seen that Luka is going to be a corner piece, and they've already set it up to where he is going to hopefully have his duo partner for most of his prime. You cannot understate that. You can't understate the importance of that in the Western Conference, because next thing you know, 7 to 8 years down the line, if they hadn't done something like this, or if Porzingis doesn't even work out, we're doing the same thing with Luka that we're doing with AD right now. And just one more note I had written down, the qualifying offer is a really interesting thing for Kristaps, because like I said, that's $4.5 million, but his rookie extension on the max, I believe I've read, was like 100 or 150. Don't know the exact number, but wow. It is a gigantic gamble for a player coming back from a very serious injury, because who knows if he's going to come back this year and be worth that money ever again. But either way, very big day for both franchises. We can laugh at New York right now, People already are laughing at New York, but hopefully by watching this video you now understand that 5-6 months from now this might not be a joke. A year or a year and a half from now, if the Knicks do have a star or two and Kristaps doesn't look like the Kristaps of before, then they would have actually won this trade. But that's conversations for later. Right now both franchises are trying to set up their futures with this move, and for what both of them are trying to do, I think they feel pretty good about themselves right now. Cuban trying to set up the future, and the Knicks trying to set up this summer. So let me know what you think in the comment section. How excited are you to see Kristaps and Luka play? Wow, that is there's gonna be a lot of fake Maverick fans walking around here next year. And yeah, if you're a Knicks fan, let me know how you feel as well. Are you excited for this summer? Because, I mean, it could backfire, but if my team has been trash for this many years, and now I see the cap space in a stacked summer, I don't know if I would feel all that bad. So yeah, let me know. Hit the like button, comment, and especially subscribe if you can, because we are really close to 250,000 subscribers. That's 250,000, and I am trying to do a giveaway and make a huge announcement. So yeah, please do those if you can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.